To approve. Can I get a motion to approve the monthly board meeting minutes of February 10th?
I so move.
Do I get a second? Chris?
Yep.
Okay, I'm sorry. We have to be formal now that we have a crowd. Assessor Larson, and can,
Assessor?
I'm sorry,
Trustee.
Trustee Larson. Is there any discussion?
Yes. Final page, item 17. Second sentence, correction to Attorney Dietz.
It says supervisors appointing Attorney Rush.
Actually, it's, okay. I will fix that. And the last one,
Everybody's got
Everyone's
titles.
Everybody's got new titles. Attorney. Any other discussion? All right. Since we're a little pressed for time, we'll do a roll call, all call. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Next set of board meetings we have is the special board meeting minutes from February 24th, 2014.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
February 24th. What was this in regards to? We need to change that I was not there. Was this February 24th?
You were there.
Oh, the budget format? Oh, you're
Yeah,
right,
you're
I'm sorry. Duh. Sorry, okay. Any other things that I said? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Third one, Committee of the Whole, February 24th. Can I get a motion?
I so move.
Second?
I'll second it.
All right, in number 5, Mr. McCartan's name is spelled wrong. It is M-C-A-R-T-I.
Diane, do it every time. Sorry, Dave.
Our payroll network.
Any other changes? All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Any opposed? Okay. While we are doing this, Jody is setting something up so she can take Assessor Ditton and Commissioner Kula's photos, and then I will have her come back later to have our photos taken, okay? But since at any time anybody could leave, we just want to make sure that we do have everybody here having the photos taken. All right, next thing on the agenda, we have a presentation, we have public participation on agenda items only. That one, is anybody?
Yes. Doug Williams.
Yeah, and I'll pass to the end because it's relating to the budget, so after the discussion, I could save it for the end.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Anybody else about anything on the agenda? Yes,
I just wanted to know if you're on the agenda, Caroline North.
yes, you are.
Okay.
You are the one after our reports.
Okay.
Actually, you're after virtual GA, which is these guys here, then Carolina, which is on.
Thank you.
Question, can I speak to the Highway Commission? Or a report?
Is it about something that's on the
Just to
agenda?
compliment them for
Oh,
snow removal.
you
It's on
can.
the agenda.
No compliments to him.
Can I speak?
You sure can.
I'm John Sonnenberg, 34409 North Circle Drive. That's Sonnenbenberg.
I'm going to need you to sign in.
I will.
Okay, terrific. I appreciate it. You can speak right now.
I, last summer, sent you a letter of commendation for the Highway Commission for the North Circle Drive. I'm vice president of the association, and they did a great job of the streets. I just want to praise them for the snow removal job they've been doing this year, because when I left Wednesday morning, I was able to get out onto the streets, and then it got worse from there as I got out of the community, and I just wanted to say thanks for the township for doing that.
There is your highway commissioner.
That's the guy? Okay.
That's
I
the
saw
guy.
him- I saw him driving this down the aisle.
That is what he does,
But
yeah.
I know he has a whole crew, so
He does.
I just wanted to thank him.
He does, and I did pass that note on to you from Mr. Sonnenberg, and I believe he did pass it on to his crew as
And our
well.
whole neighborhood does appreciate it.
All right, that's awesome.
That's all I have to say. Very good.
Thank you. Anybody else? Anything on the agenda? Nope. Okay, we will go on to reports. Supervisor Rush, you have my reports as per listed in here. Do you have any questions in regards to my reports? I also sent you my email newsletter. If anybody would like a copy of my email newsletter, you can always contact the office and I can get you a copy of that. But what I do is I just keep the board and the staff abreast of what has been happening in the township in all areas, based on the information that I receive. Okay. Next, we have, I will also praise my staff, both Lupe and Dave. We have been going through a budget period right now, putting things together. And I keep telling Dave that I couldn't even do it without him, and he's like, well, that's what I'm here for, that's what you're paying me for. But honestly and truly, Dave, and I'm saying this publicly so that everybody knows, I could not be doing this without you. Say, hey, I would say it, take me as all you want. You have done an amazing job, and I truly appreciate all the changes, and you've been very helpful in answering every single itty-bitty question that I have. And Ms. Lupe has been keeping up in our office, and her input has been invaluable. We are working on a brochure for the township that gives all the details of what each and every area of the township and our partner does. And Lupe has been putting that together, and I truly appreciate all of your hard work as well. Okay.
Here, here.
Here, here. Okay, next report we have is Highway Commissioner Kula. It is listed in here. Do you have anything to say in regards to that?
Yeah, I just want to let everybody know that the spring projects are already getting underway. Nielsen Road comment is on moving poles right now, so we can get started on that. And we did get the easement agreements a few weeks ago with, actually with Lupe's help, and I just want to thank her for that. The guys are out right now. They're removing all the snow from the basins. We're out, hand digging all of the basins, getting the snowpack off them, so when we get this thaw underway, we'll get all that rainwater out. Instead of cooling the ones, we'll get it off.
Excellent.
And then I see that I put the budget in there, budget overview in there for you guys, some of the highlights. I don't know if you guys have had a chance to look at that. If anybody has any questions about that. You'll notice that the salt budget last year ended up being 120, we ended up at 130, we used 126. You'll see, you can actually see a decrease in that salt, and the reason for that is because, the 12-13 winter, we had a very late winter, so the salt that we used in the 12-13 came out of this year's budget. Now we're all caught up now, so what we have in the budget for this year is gonna reflect the 14-15 winter, so we're gonna be using a little bit less. Our bins are actually empty, liquid's empty. We do have enough, we still have salt, I shouldn't say we're empty, but we do have salt to cover what's ahead until the spring starts. But we'll be starting fresh for next year. And I did move tree maintenance and replacement, I did move to permanent hard road because that's a standard in the highway department budgets to move it there, because our road and bridge is in such trouble right now, so that's why I moved it over to permanent hard road, and it's perfectly legal to do that, so I could do that. And I don't know if you guys see the rest of the lines, or anybody have any questions about?
We probably will as we get towards the budget, but
Okay.
right now.
Okay, that's about it for right now.
Assessor Ditton, you don't have a printed one, but do you have a report for your department?
Yeah, I can read something. Yeah.
Okay.
My office has been very busy this past month. We completed our review of the Board of Review assessment changes and corrected various commercial and non-owner occupied property values, bringing those values to uniform levels. We've begun work on assessing several commercial buildings, which were either rehabbed or new construction. And this process includes obtaining the plan from the appropriate village, measuring the building, comparing the actual measurements to the plans, drawing the building into ProVal, our valuation software, and obtaining an assessed value. We are currently reviewing all sales which took place in Avon Township for 2013 to determine if any adjustments are required to assessments. This review will also help us get a start on assessment for the quad year next year, as we can begin to determine the neighborhoods which had the most sales and the trend of those sales up or down versus assessed value. And finally, I'm continuing to work with Assessor Jerry Barr from Grant Township, Marty Paulson, the Lake County CCAO, and Representative Sam Yingling, State Senator Pam Althoff on revisions to the property tax code, which we believe will result in a more transparent assessment system, and a system that better promotes uniformity of assessments, especially at the Board of Review level. Currently, Senator Althoff has brought a comprehensive bill to the Senate floor, SB 3503, which addresses some of the transparency and uniformity issues. I believe there will be one or two additional bills introduced or amendments attached to SB 3503 to address some remaining issues.
Thank you very much. Very good input. I'm gonna go to Clerk Kirby in 1 second, but I do want to let the board know in the future that if you have a written report, we would really like it. The late, Wednesday is ideal to us, perfect, but if the latest would be Thursday at noon, okay? And that would be all reports, with, all written reports, okay? And it's not just one person, we would like them all, please, because it's, makes it easier when we put our books together, because today we were, we were getting bits and pieces in today, and we needed to get it all at once. Okay, that's it. Clerk Kirby?
You have your report in front of you, and also the FOIA report, as well as the volunteer report. You will note that the FOIA report has been updated. We're reviewing some information from some FOIAs that have not been returned to us, so that you know that we're making progress on that. We did receive one new FOIA this past month, so not as many as we had in the beginning, but certainly it is consistent, as you can see from the report. We generally have someone asking for a FOIA, and that's great. If they want information, we'd love to give it to them. Also note that with the volunteer report, we've updated it because we have a change in staff at the food pantry, so this is updated as close as we can get right now. We did that for a couple of reasons. One, because we knew there would be transition with staff, so we wanted to make sure we had the number of hours so that as people had them done, that we had accurate record keeping. I've had a conversation with Wendy Gordon. We're going to change some of the coding. I will let you know about that because we have several different kinds of volunteers. We're going to delineate what those volunteers are because it is contingent on what kind of reports that we need to make. And Wendy has to make some reports, so we'll make sure that we do that, as well as those people that are community service. We have to make those state reports, and we've gotten kudos from the 19th district because we've been on time for every report since I've taken office, which I'm very proud of, and sometimes it's hard to get, but the fact is it's done. So, that was one of the promises we made for the office. Also, you'll notice that this is the second month with the binders, and that I've included. We've moved them now to the month. There's now a month by month section in the back. We've thought about 3 before it gets too full. We'll judge that as it comes along. But we are not removing any tabs or notes, so as you make notes or tabs in your packets, those will be maintained when we move them to the other section. So feel free to mark it up. That is for your review.
Okay.
That's all.
Thank you very much. And next we have food pantry report, Wendy Warden. And she has given a copy of that as well.
Everybody has a copy, and so I just will go over the number of people we've served. In January, it was 2,253, representing 541 families in the township. And in February, it was 2,027, representing 507 families in the township. Lots of changes in the food pantry as Jeannie spoke about, and we're gonna keep making them till we get it all right and smooth and easy.
I have been over there helping out too, and I appreciate that we are working together on this, so thank you very much. All right.
Lisa, I'd like to just say one thing on trustee, I went to.
Oh, I'm sorry, yes, trustees report.
TOI, I forget what day it was, last week sometime, I went to Libertyville, they had the TOI, Lake County TOI met.
Okay.
And they're gonna try to set up, they'll probably talk about it supervisor functions too, because they're going to try to do maybe quarterly meetings or something where they bring in a speaker and they'll maybe try to go to Warren Township because they got a big facility, something like that. It's kind of a good meeting. I think they want to do more, and that's been kind of a quiet issue for some years now. I think Kathy wants to get it started going, so it was a good meeting, about a 2-hour meeting.
Sounds good. Are there any other trustee reports? Okay, thank you very much for everybody's report. Next, we have, I just have Mr. Adams written. Lupe, would you like to introduce them?
Yes.
This young lady is very excited about this program, and so.
What's the name of the company again? I'm sorry.
It's NJS Enterprises.
And it's David and Bill,
Yes.
and they're gonna be presenting on, it's a new database that we're looking into getting for GA and EA.
GA is?
General Assistance and Emergency Assistance. Okay, go right ahead.
As she said, Bill Sorrentino, I own NJS Enterprises. This is David Adams, the senior programmer on the project. We've been doing visualga.net for the last 11 years. We have 50 townships in the state of Illinois currently using the software to help manage their assistance programs. It was first designed for GA and EA, and then since then we have enhanced it for what we call additional assistance for any other program you might have, sharing tree, food pantry, things of that nature, to kind of automate and give you the ability to use technology to make things smoother in the individual townships. So what we're going to do today is we're going to take you through the software. I'm probably in the condensed mode. We were told 20 minutes. Normally our demo runs about an hour. But we're going to push it all through and go through some of the main points of the software and show you how the software can, you can use the technology to go through the entire budgeting process, automate it without grabbing a calculator and a pen and figuring out if someone qualifies for assistance in the township. The software, following the state manual, will do all that for you. And print it out, sign it, and off you go. Actually, we met Mr. Larson at TOI early in November. So, without further ado, we'll show you the software. It is. Is it okay if we pack up while you're?
It's fine, because we need, yeah.
I don't want to upset the apple cart.
No, you're fine. You see, we took pictures while presentations are going on. We are we multitask well. All right.
Yeah, I had a chance to meet with them at TOI, as I mentioned. We probably spent 30 minutes talking about the technical details of the application and the platforms and whatnot. It's on a sound backbone. It's, a reliable based technology framework that they're running on. Something that we can accommodate here at the township with, minimal extra costs outside of whatever the software is going to cost. So I just wanted to provide that piece of assessment as well.
Yeah, we didn't talk about that. I don't know if that's something we talk about here,
We'll
talk about it privately, but we do offer support, and if you'd like, we're happy to give you references to any of the 50 townships that currently use it.
Grant raves about it, so that's all we
Good, we
need.
like Ralph.
Yeah, Ralph is a good guy.
We really like it.
Yeah. Ralph is the one who you came highly recommended from. All right, next we have Mr. Bob Kula giving a presentation with Caroline.
Actually, Lori's giving the presentation. Lori, guys, if you don't know, is from, Lori's from Caroline North. They're looking to get a grant to do some more work in the wetland over off the Drury Lane, and she's looking for some assistance from the township regarding the grant process, so that's what she's gonna speak to us about.
Lori, and your last name, please?
Keltner, Keltner. And I also brought Paul Korkendorfer. He's our board treasurer over at Caroline. So I wanted to come him in as well because he'll help you answer some questions. Basically, Bob has already kind of given you a briefing of the grant. It's an open lands grant with ComEd. And the only way we can apply for it is through township or village and so forth. So we thought that this would be a perfect match because we've been collaborating with the township for 2 years now. And their primary objective has been to help us chip the buckthorn, which is an invasive species. The wetland that we're working on is a high definition wetland that's on the Lake County maps. So it's real crucial to not only Caroline North to restore, but also the county, and it benefits the Mill Creek watershed because we're a part of that watershed. So that's kind of what we're proposing. On page 2 of your handout, if you all have that handout, there's a little table set up which indicates what our responsibilities as Caroline North would be and what your responsibilities as the township would be. So basically, I'm going to complete and submit the application with Bob's input on behalf of the township, but it has to be named in the township because it's, a municipality type of grant. And then what happens with the funds is if we're granted this grant, what will happen is they will cut Avon Township the check for all the work to be done in the wetlands, and then invoices will be distributed, you know, through the township, but Carolina North would actually give you that payment as soon as you receive the payment from ComEd Open Lands Grant, so. Does that help? I gave you a lot of information, I think, in your handout, so if you have specific questions, we certainly can answer those.
Do you have any questions?
No, I've already gone over it, and, I have no problem doing it, it's really just a pass-through for us.
Okay.
You know, it's their money, but like I said, it has to go through the government, and it's really just gonna be a pass-around of Jerry, if you have any thoughts on that at all.
That'll be fine.
Yeah, so, they're doing really we're just doing, I guess, really administrative work,
Correct.
but as far as applying for, I have no problem doing our part, I'm all for it, actually.
Okay.
So, and they have to actually get the grant first before we
Correct,
worry
you
about
may
the
not
next
even
step.
be, you
Because
know.
there's a lot of competition for that.
Correct.
So,
Now, I know the Village of Haynesville around Cranberry Lake has done a lot of work with removal of buckthorn there, and the results have been outstanding for that area, so, I fully support this. I hope that things go very well with this.
Thank you. That would really help us a great deal, because for the past 2 years, our 70-year-old homeowners have been cutting the buckthorn. And we've been dragging it to the street, and Bob's been grateful enough to then chip it, so.
Didn't we help with this last year?
You did.
Yeah.
we did.
Yeah,
We
so it'd
were
be
out
really
there this summer.
helpful.
Right, is there any other
Any other
questions?
questions?
So basically, with your grant, what you're going for is basically to get rid of the buckthorn and,
Correct, all the invasives, get rid of the invasives, we would probably do a burn, a controlled burn. We're gonna manage the cattails, and then we're gonna put, additional plugs that are native species to the wetlands and to this area.
Are there any other questions? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you for your time, appreciate it.
Good one.
Thanks.
Have a good one. Thanks, Lori.
Sorry we didn't have any questions for you, Rob. But we do appreciate you coming. All right. That is a resolution then that we have to pass on that, Bob?
Yes.
Okay. Right, that's what I was just looking at. All right, next on our agenda, that is something we can get approved at our next meeting, if that's something we want to do. Is, we're going to pass up number 9, the discussion of possible action on grants. So we will pass that up, put that to the next meeting. And then the next, we will defer to our attorney. Discussion of possible action on food pantry contract / monies.
I have received the first draft of it, I think, a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. We're gonna make some changes to it. I understand there's also some personnel changes that we're gonna make in the agreement itself too. So I can certainly supply you guys a copy of the first draft if you want, but it's gonna change a little bit.
If you could just email one to us so we have a chance to take a glance at it and go over it.
No problem.
Are we not gonna discuss anything further than that yet, because we haven't?
We don't really have any other answers other than
Okay.
the changes in personnel.
That you're gonna ask for a vote on this?
Hopefully by the next meeting.
Yeah. I'd like it before that, so maybe we could even have a special meeting. Is that possible?
Whatever you need.
Okay, because this is something we really need to move forward with. All right,
So, just to clarify that, Jerry, the changes that you're making, when do you think you can get those to the school,
Well, I haven't discussed them specifically yet with the township or with the food pantry, so once we clear all that up, then certainly. Yeah, the first draft is done.
so as
And
soon
you're gonna
as,
send that the first draft?
Yeah, I'll send out the first.
Changes.
right, and as soon, yes, Wendy?
Is it changes to the lease agreement and the employee?
I have a
agreement,
couple
or-
changes to both, yeah.
To both, okay.
Yeah. More legal things than anything else, but substantively, it's all what we discussed at the last
At the
meeting.
meeting, okay. All right, so we will have a special meeting and hopefully within the next week or a week and a half?
Maybe 2 weeks.
2 weeks, okay, 2 weeks.
I love a deadline.
So do I.
Thank you.
Next, we have we have to do discussion and action on our town hall meeting agenda, which is under your tab number 3. There's the agenda. Does anybody have anything, can we add anything to this? That's what we're doing.
This is what we're doing.
This is what we're doing. Does anybody else have anything they would like to add to that agenda as a town hall meeting? No?
I don't think anybody got copies of the budget or agendas. We have no copies, so we don't know.
This one you wouldn't get a copy of because it's
For the town.
It's for the town meeting. The budget is a still work in progress, so that's why you did not get a copy of it. All right, I'm sorry,
Do we put public participation?
the whole meeting is a public participation. So that's why I put it at the end, but basically a town hall meeting is public. Yes, Larry?
When is the meeting?
The meeting is Tuesday, April 8th, 2014,
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock, here. So if nobody has any questions or changes to this, can I get a motion to approve the town hall meeting agenda?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Any more discussion?
Oh, people, okay.
Any more discussion? No? Okay, roll call please.
Trustee McNeil,
Aye.
trustee Larson,
Aye.
trustee DeGrove. Trustee Delamar. Supervisor Rush.
Aye. All right, next. I'm sorry.
Right.
Okay. Next, we have our discussion and possible action on the resolution adopting the tentative budget and appropriation ordinance, which that is the wording that needs to be put on there, but we have yet to even start to, we haven't,
Well, the reason we're doing this month is
Right.
because we need 30 days in which to post our tentative budget, and we didn't have enough time between the April meeting and the May. So I asked that we approve the tentative budget this month, and that'll give the public ample time to come in, review the budget, and make comments if they wish, before the hearing, which will be in May.
all right. Questions, answers, we're going over this. Do we need to call for a motion on this then?
The motion will be for the resolution, which will adopt the tentative budget
Okay.
and set the hearing date for that May meeting.
Okay, should we do that now?
Yeah, unless you want to discuss more what's in the
Yeah,
budget.
we need to discuss more what's in the
It's
budget.
all done together.
Okay, all right, so do the discussion first, please.
Well, you can have the motion to adopt the resolution.
Okay. Can I get a motion to adopt the resolution? Lisa, do I have a second?
I just want to make sure that you know the resolution is on tab 5.
Right.
Yep.
Okay, got it, great.
I have a motion by Lisa and a second, I'm sorry, a motion by trustee DeLamar and a second by trustee Larson.
And then now's the time where you discuss the
Now we're gonna
tentative
discuss.
budget itself.
We can discuss, we also have Assessor Ditton here as well. Assessor Ditton, is there anything you'd like to say about the budget at this point?
Well, I just got this maybe 6 hours or so before the meeting tonight, so haven't had a chance to, a great opportunity to look at it, kind of surprised by the timing, but, with, the fact that I only had 6 hours, but, one item jumps out at me, and I'm assuming, shouldn't assume, but appears to be maybe an oversight, I'm not sure, but there was a budget that we had looked at during the Finance Committee hearing regarding personal services. And the total line item for that, which included salaries, health insurance, IMRF, et cetera, was $295,500. And the proposal, I guess, that I got about 6 hours ago under personal services had an amount of $223,800. So I'm just trying to find out, what's going on with that, 'cause that's a considerable reduction from where we were before.
I'll go ahead and answer that. So, Just so everybody's aware, Supervisor Rush and I met with Assessor Ditton on Sunday morning and advised him. We had gone through this budget, and I'll just give some background here. Our budget last year, we were significantly overspending and dipped fairly deeply into our reserves, well over $150,000. A lot of that is unfortunately responsible to some levy cuts that took place a couple of years ago under a previous administration. Unfortunately, because of that, the levy cuts resulted in a $200,000 revenue shortfall. As a result, this is our administration's first attempt at trying to get ourselves back to a balanced budget. We've gone through significant realignments, significant slashing across the town fund and the general assistance fund. And what we came up with at the end of the day was that the assessor's budget, as it was originally proposed, was taking up well over 55% of the total levy. In order to be sustainable, the town fund and the assessor's fund needed to all come down. We've slashed everywhere we possibly could, Chris, and this is what we ended up with as a last resort. It's certainly a painful thing. It's certainly not something that's very palatable to myself as the finance committee chair. I know that Supervisor Rush shares that sentiment, that it's not palatable to cut salaries, to reduce those line items at any time whatsoever. Unfortunately, our hand has been forced by previous actions, and we can either continue to run into an unsustainable deficit spending capability over the next 4 to 8 years, or we can start making some hard decisions and hard choices right now to reduce some levels and then slowly build those back up over the next couple of years.
I respond to that. I was elected last April by the voters of Avon Township, the office of Township Assessor, to assess all property uniformly according to value. Avon Township has approximately 23,987 parcels, second highest parcel count in all of Lake County. In order to assess 23,987 parcels, I need office storage space, equipment, office supplies, deputies, and clerical personnel, and other items that I deem necessary for the efficient operation of the office. Despite having the second highest parcel count in all of Lake County, my fiscal year 2013 budget produced the lowest cost per parcel of any full-time assessor's office in Lake County. That is, a property owner in Avon Township paid the least amount to have his, her, or its property assessed. My fiscal year 2014 budget proposal, which I submitted on December 30th, 2013, pursuant to applicable statute, maintained the same bottom line as my 2013 budget, again resulting in the lowest per parcel budget in all of Lake County for full-time assessor's office. My 2014 proposed budget did not seek an increase in funding, but maintained the fiscally prudent bottom line. For informational purposes, the other assessor's offices within the top 5 parcel count in Lake County all have between 4 and 5 full-time employees, and we have 4 full-time employees. I believe the proposal before you now would result in a budget that would prevent me from operating my office in a manner I deem efficient. It would put the assessment process in Avon Township at risk, and that is something I'm not willing to support or endorse. I'm requesting that you submit for publication the budget that I submitted on December 30th, 2013. Thank you.
I'd like to just comment on that as well, Chris. The claim of the lowest per parcel is based on your $247,000 budget as submitted. That did not include all the insurance line items that have been moved from the town fund to the assessor's fund where appropriate, or the assessor's salary, as a number of townships in the area have done. By making that change, the $247,000 budget as originally proposed increases to $397,000. That is higher than Waukegan, it is higher than Lake Villa, it is almost in line with Warren, and we should bear in mind that the lowest levy for any of those townships is $1.5 million on the general fund. We are unfortunately stuck with a town fund levy of $525,000. That being said, in order to accommodate your original budget request, you would leave the town with $125,000 for the maintenance of the building, for continuing their programs, paying for the salaries of the remainder of the elected officials, all of the insurance for the buildings and property, the maintenance, vehicle services, grounds landscaping, mosquitoes, utilities, continuing education, postage, publishing, outreach services, the Northwest Demonstration Project, and a number of critical services that we provide to the residents of Avon Township. I would love to be able to give you $400,000. Unfortunately, Lisa's predecessor and that prior board made the decision to cut the levies by 27% for the town fund. They have unfortunately hamstrung us. And that is where we're at right now. I don't mean to cause any personal attacks or anything, but I am very disimpressed with now State Representative Yingling's lack of vision and lack of responsibility in crafting that final levy before he left his office. I'm sorry, you could talk to him about that.
Can I make one point? You made a couple of, Waukegan has 4 full-time employees, 1 part-time. Their budget is $411,000. They have 22,713 parcels, slightly less than we do. Lake Villa has 4 full-time employees, a budget of $406,650 as of last budget year. And again, they have approximately 2/3 of the parcels that we do.
We could look at Waukegan from last year and also account for $65,000 just for their building rent and say that the cost minus that rent, because the town's office provides that for you, reduces their budget by that much, which brings it under that $397,000 that you're requesting. So we can argue back and forth over these numbers. We'll both have different perspectives. I'm hoping that we can work together to try and get through a difficult time.
All I can say is, the elimination of employees that need to do the job, the second highest parcel count, I mean, I'm willing to work with you without the elimination of critical staff that would put the assessment process in jeopardy in Avon Township.
I'm not sure where the extra money is gonna come from unless we burn down our reserves, and this board would have to be willing to do that. The other alternative is that, we can renege on our promise when we discussed the levy to pass an abatement as well, so that we did not increase anything in this year. We can also consider during the next levy season, going through the entire truth and taxation process, or setting up additional levies to cover things like IMRF, Social Security, insurance, as a number of other townships do, and just add additional layers of taxation onto our residents. Those are discussions and things that we have to consider as well. This year, we don't have that opportunity.
I have nothing more to add.
You have
Made my
nothing more
point, and that's my point.
Okay, thank you.
I would like to just point out, as Jerry had mentioned as well, this is a tentative budget, a tentative form of budget. This continues us operating in the beginning of this fiscal year until such time as the public hearing. Additional changes may take place between now and then based on the public's comments and input. So if we can find a way to get additional money and not reduce staffing, then, so be it. But I know that there's been a lot of work and a lot of input, especially from office staff, supervisor, myself, this board through various, conversations or committee meetings, trying to get this done and trying to do it so that we aren't overspending. And I'm sorry that this is where it's come to. We've also cut, in the past, our general assistance fund paid for a food pantry employee. We've cut that as well. We're shifting that burden of responsibility because we can't sustain that. That's significant dollars to our food pantry that we can no longer provide. We're doing everything we can to try and avoid that sort of circumstance. Unfortunately, our hand is just forced.
I have a question, Assessor Ditton. You happen to know Waukegan's numbers pretty well. What percentage of the township income comes from the assessor, is spent on the assessor? There's the budget that you presented to us came into 53% of our entire budget. What does the assessor in Waukegan, what percentage does that department account for out of their budget?
And I don't know because, I had a meeting in November with the then Assessor Pat Morris, who put together quite a nice spreadsheet on this whole topic. The problem is that there are certain items that are included in some budgets that aren't included in others. So, it
Is
becomes
there
a
a
little.
best practice for Illinois assessors as far as what a target percentage of a township's budget should be spent on the assessor's office?
Not that we discussed in this, it was just a range of different, budgets. I'm trying to see if. Let's see what we can- I don't have it, it just tells me, Waukegan was, they were assessed $14.10 a parcel, and we were $13.05, so we were, so the budget was $13.05 per parcel for our assessor's office, and for Waukegan, it was $14.10, but I don't have anything.
During the
I
course.
do understand what you're saying, and no, I don't have anything, when we did I didn't get anything on that in terms of the percentage, I understand what you're asking.
So Bruce,
I don't have it.
what they actually base it on is the dollar per parcel based on your budget, correct?
That's one way to do it, right, and that's what we did in here, and that was what, kind of the presentation
And the
was
dollar per
about.
parcel that we do is currently, what is our dollar per parcel at this point?
On last year's budget, it was, what did I say, adjusted, it was $13.05.
Okay.
And adjusted means that what Pat Morris did was he took all those expenses that were common to a majority of the budget. So there were 17 that he looked at, 17 townships out of 18. And he took items that were in a majority of those, so it'd be like nine of them. And then, so he then figured out a number for each one of those categories, and then loaded that in. So adjusted, meaning everybody had the same categories, adjusted, and then numbers. Again, we were at $13.05 per parcel. Waukegan was $14.10, so $14.10 per parcel was what their budget amounted to.
Would you be able to get a copy of that to all of the trustees?
Yeah, I can make copies of that.
Thank you,
Yeah, I can make copies.
so that they can see it.
Does that document delineate what was taken out and how they arrived at that number? Does that,
I have a cold, I'm sorry.
That's all right, that's all right.
Worse.
does the documents you're going to give the trustees delineate how that number was arrived and what was or was not included in based in that number?
Yeah, I can talk to Pat Morris. He's still part-time over in Waukegan. So I can talk to Pat, and then I can get more of the information. Because he had a part of his presentation that I don't have, broke down what was in the adjusted budget. So yes, I can get that and show you what he did.
It's based on budget, not actual, correct?
Yeah, he has actual budgets, then he has the quote adjusted, like I said, and one of his things was that the assessor's salary is actually supposed to be in the town fund, not in the assessor. So he was real big on that the actual way to do it per law was that it's supposed to be in the town fund. That's what he said, and that's what the numbers were based off of too.
That's right.
The assessor's fund is the town fund, so
The
it's that
yeah,
clear,
it's-
that the assessor really just is a line item in your budget.
Right.
All of it is,
Yeah.
It just depends on how it's reported and broken down. I know, I've got Lake Villas in front of me, the assessor is broken down under the assessor's division fund as opposed to under the general expenditures. Waukegan and Warren handle that in a different way, and that's just a question of how transparent do you want the salaries to be by department. In our cases, we're just opting for the maximum transparency.
And just for the public, since a lot of them, we completely revamped how we report our budget, how we record our budget, so that it is as transparent as possible for the public, delineating what costs come out of exactly what area, so that you no longer have a lump that you have to say, well, how much of this was spent on A, how much of this was spent on B, how much was spent on C. Those are all delineated by line items and common revenue, common numbers, common account numbers throughout each of the departments. And again, that was part of This board's efforts to be transparent.
For example, utilities are now broken down by electric, gas, water, so that you can see where it's spent. It's not just all lumped under one thing, so we can see all that.
Yep, where we had account numbers that were different between different funds, those account numbers have now been adjusted to be consistent across the board. Anybody who's reviewed like a school board or a school district's budgeting process where they have a large cross-tab functional worksheet, our town assessment and GA budgets now fit into that same type of a format when we're trying to work through this. We also adopted this year a zero balance process. You know, Supervisor Rush, Dave, and I sat down for about 4.5 hours, zeroing out all of the lines, realistically plugging in what all of the expectations were and all of the requests were, so that we knew exactly, we could justify every dollar that we intended to spend. It's you know,
Painful.
It's painful.
It was painful.
It was long,
I
it was
will tell
slow,
you
it was
that.
painful. It's something this board has advocated for since we took over. And we were able to accomplish it in this first year. And I'm very proud of this entire board, and especially Supervisor Rush for embracing this new process.
I crochet when I'm stressed. Let's just tell you that an
And we shall
entire
take that up.
school has brand new hats. All right, let's move on. One of the
I'd like
things.
to call for the vote.
Go ahead. Can we call for a
We got the resolution.
Yeah.
resolution?
Does Bob's have to be in that too?
Yes, Bob's has to be in that too. And where's Bob's?
Bob, did you bring one in?
I did.
I thought I'd hear that.
Bob's is not in here.
I didn't see the highway in here.
It should be in the packet.
In the back.
Maybe another section?
No?
Not the book here.
You want to crowd around the tiny screen, I've got a copy on my phone.
I have
You
one.
have,
You have a
in
copy?
his report, in his report, you also have a delineation of the things you've done, but if you have a copy, I will make, you have enough for the board, or do you want me to make copies for them?
Keep it in the packet. What?
Lupe is gonna make
Yeah,
copies.
Lupe's gonna go make some copies.
How
Thank
many
you,
do I
Lupe. One for each of us. Oops. You got your keys?
It's not open?
No.
Just 4 copies, Lupe, I've got one.
I need one too, so at least 6.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Judy wants one too.
Plus
Oh,
the-
okay. All right, we'll wait till we get that copy. My one thing is, we just, and this is just something that we ended up going with a grant program to, supply grants to various, and we had a really good grant program going on, but that is now all but scratched, with very small amounts in there in order to balance out the budget. It is not something that I'm happy with, because one of the things I like to do to make sure that it is, you have one?
It is in your book, just,
What tab is it under?
yeah, it's under, tab, I'm sorry, Lisa, I didn't interrupt you. But guys, it is in your book, it's under tab 6, it is at the back of the budget.
Okay, so, I mean,
I thought it was in there.
all right, let me just continue this, please. And one of the things,
It might not be
since,
current.
Yeah, that was last week.
Oh, yeah.
okay, this is
That's why I'm going
Bob's,
off this
you
one.
wanna hand this over to Bob? And Kathy? Two, three, two, three, there. And, I mean, we got it to the point where we have been having meetings and supplying organizations that, and I know Doug doesn't like this, but it is so that we don't and it isn't duplicating, it isn't replicating, it isn't, because a different organization may do something where we don't have to, so it's helping them out in that way. And unfortunately, with the lowering of the budget, it doesn't seem like we're going to be able to be a big help to a lot of organizations, and that does kind of break my heart, because that is what the township is here for, is to make sure that we are helping these organizations that are helping the majority of our residents and helping them out. So I just wanted to mention that as well.
Hey Bob, in that tree replacement thing, can you plant a money tree somewhere?
I already planted mine.
I think we got to slow down about that right now, all the trees, when they're getting trees.
Dave, do you remember when we wrote the check for, because under miscellaneous service, that is supposed to be, I guess, towards the Northwest demo, how much did we write that check for last year? Was it 9?
8 or 7.
7 or 8?
7 or 8.
Yeah, so that number may be a little bit inflated, because they only meet it once a year. So that number that you have there might be a bit big, so perhaps we can break it down and give a
Yes.
little more to the grants, because that would make me a whole heck of a lot happier. Happy supervisor, happy board.
Got a motion and a second, and a call for the vote.
Somebody have any questions? I mean, this is just my
Yeah,
time.
any questions? Can we,
will.
we'll make more changes afterwards, or?
Yeah, this is the tentative budget, so
Okay.
the full time
We
period
got
between
30
now
days
and
to
the
look at it.
hearing
Alright.
Yeah, we
to
do.
go over them.
Okay. All right, we have a first and a second. Jeannie, please call the, I'm sorry, Clerk Kirby, please call the roll.
Trustee McNeil,
Aye.
trustee Larson,
Aye.
trustee DeGrove. Aye. Trustee Delmar. Aye. Supervisor Rush.
Unfortunately, I'm going to say nay just for a few things.
Okay, motion carries.
Okay, all right. We'll make sure that that gets out. All right, next, we have bill payments, which kind of cracks me up since we don't actually have a budget yet to work on, but we all know how that works. Okay, do I have a motion to approve the prepaid bills?
I so moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion on the prepaid bills? If hearing none, Clerk Kirby, will you read the roll?
I will. Trustee Delmar. Aye. Trustee McNeil.
Aye.
Trustee Larson.
Aye.
Trustee DeGrove. Aye. Supervisor Rush.
Aye. All right, and second off on bill payment, we have our outstanding bills. Do I get a motion to approve the outstanding bills?
I so moved.
Do I have a second?
Second?
Do we have any discussion?
Yes.
Okay, go for it.
Check number 18794 to the Greater Round Lake Fire Protection District.
Yes.
Can that be recoded as 510-540?
For,
A due rather than a subscription?
is it a subscription?
It's the annual service plan for the building,
Annual service plan.
for the monitoring.
Yeah, that's
Fire.
definitely not a subscription.
541?
That was with that audio bill or something, I saw something with the fire,
Yeah,
as the audio or something.
just in the monitor, the,
Yeah.
Is there a better number for it?
Yeah, there's a better number than dues for that too.
You said 510, 541?
That's the fire protection circuit and monitoring. 510-554 telephone, which is
554.
data circuits as well.
And any other ones? No? Trustee DeGrove? All right, hearing none, can I get a motion to, I'm sorry,
I'm
a
a-
roll call?
Yep, I'm taking that suggestion for recoding as a friendly amendment.
Okay.
So we will do trustee Delmar. Aye. Trustee McNeil.
Aye.
Trustee Larson.
Aye.
Trustee DeGrove. Aye. Supervisor Rush.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries.
Okay, getting our photographer back, that's what I'm doing, I'm not calling anybody else. Okay, to get our individual photos. All right, now we have old business. Under old business, we have, I don't have a copy for everyone, but one of the things that we're talking about is a newsletter. And we had a really high quote before, but since then, I have a new quote. It is to send out it is for a quantity of 25,000, 8 pages including the insert of a survey. It is $6,960. Mailing portion, list conversion, setup, inkjet, postal paperwork, and delivery to one post office. That means they just take it all and drop it off at one place. Oh, there she is. Would be $1,255. I'm gonna read this all just so that everybody has all the information, and then I will give copies later. The only thing that may incur more charges would be the list conversion, depending on how clean the list is when you give it to us. If it is clean, then the amount above will stand. If not, then there would be a $50 an hour additional charge for every hour it takes to go through the list to make sure all the addresses are good. If there needs to be delivery to more than one post office, then there would be an additional $25 per post office. Again, that is if these need to go to more than one post office. In addition, what she's going to do is label the surveys in the center, postage only, we will only pay postage if they are returned back to us. Okay,
So the note on there was about 8,000?
what?
About 8,000?
Yes, about that.
9,000.
Yeah, because they over eight.
Yeah, it's
7,
over
8,
nine.
right, 7, 8.5. Yeah, that's only if we have to do all the other stuff. So at the maximum 9. So that is the newsletter.
Really nice improvement over
Yes.
the last
Yeah,
numbers.
I know. In addition, which what is not listed on here is, the person who would be putting this together for us is only gonna be charging us, I'm so happy about this one, $600 instead of $1,800. Okay, so far I have Assessor Ditton's report. I have Trustee DeGrow's report. Wendy, did I get yours? You did send it to me? I'm sorry. I have, oh yeah, I do have yours, I'm sorry. I have the food pantries, and then, so it would be Jeannie, Bob, me. That just needs it.
She's in it. Mine is done.
Yours is done? I just don't have it.
You just have it.
I just don't have it. I would like those, yes.
I do have a comment. I actually did do it, but after I see those numbers, I think you need to go back to my road and bridge and look at my proposed budget for communications. You're gonna see it's at 0 for this year. Postage and publishing is at 0 and printing is at 500. I do not have the money for that, and I've already upside down, you know, I had to make some hard choices myself this year. My revenue for this year, projected revenue is.
That's okay, Bob, because we took Chris's away too. He only has 500 in his as well.
We're observing the newsletter under the town fund for everybody.
Is there some way we
Instead of
could just
breaking
do
it
that, you know, and just, if we're worried about.
You paying for a
No,
blurb?
no, a different way. If we're having that problem with grant money and GA and all that, why not just do this newsletter online?
Yes.
An online newsletter and get that money over to assistance instead.
Well, we're gonna send out one because we need to send out the survey. So in order to include the survey, we'll put it all in there just to get it out to all the households. In the newsletter, it will indicate that we will then continue after this one to be doing them online. And then we can print them out if, for those who actually want in-house instead of going outside and printing them out.
Part of what the newsletter is asking is for people
Yes.
to give us their
Email
email
addresses.
addresses. So we can know, because part of the problem in an area like our township, many people still do not have computer access.
So do we
know
expect
exactly
this,
what
so
it is.
we're expecting this to be a one-time only
Yes,
Yep.
paper
yes,
newsletter?
The
yes.
rest of it will be digital publication and
I really
significantly
think
less
that-
expensive.
Because
I
that
could
is the
expect
reason, that is another
Start
reason
outside.
why we came up with the brochure idea. That way, if anybody calls and goes, what does the township do? We can take a newsletter, pop it in an envelope, and, take a brochure, pop it in an envelope, and mail it to someone. That gives a lot of information in just a brochure form.
We can print out at a half penny a sheet, a copy of what our online newsletter is if they need it mailed to them, something along those lines for the few people that need a printed copy. But it will significantly reduce those expenditures over time.
Yes.
Okay.
And for those who would be asking the Spanish question, Ms. Lupe has agreed to translate this newsletter as well, in addition to the survey. So if anybody does call and want what was funny was, we had asked her to translate the survey, and her biggest question was, there is no translation for the word survey, right? Is that the word? Newsletter. There is no translation for the word newsletter, she says, because it isn't a very popular thing amongst the Spanish-speaking people. All right.
I think one of the big things too is just with doing this system, if you speak Polish or Korean or whatever, you could request and then we can look at getting it translated or that.
Yes, yeah.
Or
That's
it's
exactly it.
digital method, you could use the Google Translate functions, there's a lot of different
Yeah,
things.
Google
that'll already
Translate
help.
doesn't do all that great of a job, yeah, and, but I have, quite a few translation for other languages throughout the libraries. The library that I worked at, we have quite a few translation, people who use translation skills for, Polish, Russian, German, and those, Korean. I don't think I have a Korean, but we can easily, probably find that easily. The next thing that is not on our agenda that we really need to decide, what? It's under old business because we've discussed it before, is Topics Day. Who will be attending Topics Day? If you are attending Topics Day, I need to know this ASAP, otherwise the rates for everything are going to go higher. So we need to know if you're going to go to Topics Day.
I've already told you I'm
Yes,
going.
you are going,
I have to pass.
okay? Okay, pass.
It's March sometime, right?
April 30th, I think is what it is.
No, April 30th.
Yeah, April
Yeah.
30th.
Oh, yeah, April, yeah. That's a lot.
Come on, no one wants to go down and hobnob with
I'll just-
legislators?
Yes, sir.
All right,
They're gonna be sorry.
April
I hate
Yeah,
it.
yeah, you are.
It's lobby day.
We'll send you emails.
yeah, that's what it's called. Yeah, Topics Day, Lobby Day.
Yeah, I'll be going.
Okay,
Oh, good.
all right, okay.
Go home.
I'm going too.
Oh, you're going too, good.
I'm gonna go too.
Good, then I can count on 2 people to tell me to shut up.
All right, well, I thought this meeting was gonna last forever and a day, but it's not. Do we have any new business?
I do have just a quick
Yes,
question.
Bob.
I just want to, Jerry, as far as that Caroline's concerned, do we need a resolution? I mean, it's just, I'm actually applying for the grant on their behalf, but since I'm doing it, do we
I
really?
think we can do it, the highway commissioner can actually sign the resolution and just put highway commissioner and
Okay,
be it like that.
okay.
All right, and then that, GA thing that we had, do we need to put that as an approval or on the agenda?
Well,
to
that
give
falls
them-
under general assistance, so if the board's heard about it, that'll be your decision.
Okay. Okay, we'll be, look at her, look at her. Yes. She's very excited. Don't take pictures of me doing that, Jody. All right, is there any other new business? Hearing none. Public participation on anything.
Yes.
Oh, can I, before you?
Sure.
I would like you all to sign in.
I'll sign up,
Okay,
but I just wanna, for those I know, many people have been at the township meetings before, and you've heard from the dais, good governance. I've been part of 5 budget calls here, and I gotta tell you, and this is just paying compliments, I have never seen more of a collaborative effort than this year. I mean, truly, the principals, the trustees were engaged, the chairman asked, what would you like to see? And unfortunately, things are what they are, but, I mean, everybody did a fantastic job, and it was so good to see everybody work as a team. I just want to say thank you to everybody for that.
thank you, Dave.
Thank you, Dave.
And Mr. Williams?
Yes, and I'll keep it short, and I'll start off by complimenting you guys, because I sat here and I saw the attorney's copy of the budget, and wow, salaries are actually broken down, and, so thank you, because I know that's some of the hard work that you guys said you would do when you guys got elected. And the other part, Bill could remember this, it was a grueling 2013 budget meeting with the previous supervisor, and the key word that I kept commenting to him was, do not decimate the township budget, because you will hurt the mission of the budget. Well, obviously that wasn't heeded, and you guys are paying the price for it, so you're doing the best you can. So I would say, disagree, like you voted nay, please do that more, because you know what, part of the problem is in the old board, there was this vision, and the supervisor pushed it, and it was certainly, we can see it was the wrong vision for the township. Secondly, Bill, if you can remember that Sam said he was bringing a $75,000 grant in that budget that we have?
That's part of why we had to dip into the reserve.
So it didn't happen? Okay, shame on him, shame on him.
I agree.
And also I wish Assessor Ditton would have stayed because as you know, or you may not know, maybe you do, Chris, there's, Yingling is co-sponsoring a freeze for 2014 for township assessments. So have you looked at that and what that would do to your budget?
I would have a minimal impact, I think, on our levies because there's nothing they can do to raise them at this point. I'd rather they not go down, and we would expect similar levels to last year.
Okay, so you're aware of that proposal, and then, okay, because that's key. And I would just have to say, please protect the core missions of the township. Assessments are important, I'm not arguing it, and you're right, we wish we could give him his funds, but we're not gonna give it to him at the expense of general aid, emergency aid, or the food pantry. I mean, those are core missions that you must protect, if nothing else.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Anybody
Ben.
else? I would also like to commend the board and, yes, there are a few minor things on the budget that I did, you know, as I said, it was painful. And there are a few things down, like the grants, that kind of have me a little bit upset about it, but it is what it is. And what I'm proud of is that we all worked together to achieve it. And we did I think we did an commendable job, so I think we all need to give ourselves a round of applause.
One last quick question, because the reserves kept coming up. What are the current reserves and how long would that last us if we, you know?
If we didn't do what we're currently doing, 5 years, 6 years, most.
We'd be burning down $150,000 to $175,000 annually on our reserves. We'd be dipping into long-term investments within 3 years and be empty in 5 to 6.
And that makes no allowances for long-term projects.
Oh, sure.
We have some, you know, long-term issues within the township, and we have to abandon all those.
Thank you.
Doug, if you'd like to review it, it's a copy of the levies since 2007, and you can see that in fiscal year ending in 2013, it was a 27% decrease on the town, and a net 75% decrease for Bob's Road and Bridge Fund, so he's suffering the brunt of this as well.
And what I will do is, I will make copies after this meeting, so if you'd like, just follow me in the office,
Surely.
and I'll make copies of
Surely.
the approved tentative budget.
There, anything else? Can I get a motion? Larry, you just came just to see our beautiful faces?
No questions?
Got that meeting done in 35 minutes.
Yeah,
Oh,
very
wait a minute,
efficient.
you haven't changed the clock.
We haven't changed the clock, that's what I forgot to tell you to do, Dave. We forgot to Springfield.
No, I think we ought to send Chris down to Springfield, tell him what they need to do with the money down there too.
There you go, there you go.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Larry.
yeah, you did a very, very good job.
That's impressive.
All right, do I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second. That's trustee Larson and trustee DeGrow. And on a motion, on a all call, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those, any opposed? Meeting adjourned. Thank you very much, everybody, for the meeting. Board members do not leave.